Hello and welcome to Ham Nation, episode 603 for July 30th, 2025. And hello, everybody. Welcome to a very special episode of Ham Nation. We have a ton of guests, so we better just get started with it. Let's say hi first to the wonderful hosts of the evening. How's it going, hosts?
All is
we
well.
are busy tonight.
Busy. Gordo at the top of the pyramid, how you doing tonight?
That is great. We had no tsunami, so we're alive.
We're still here, high and dry. I myself am also tsunami free. Don, how are you doing today?
I am doing well. We had some weather come through, lost power for about an hour or so, but it's all back on, and here we are. And we've got a big show tonight. We've got a special presentation, first time we've ever done this, which is going to be kind of cool. And also, we're going to hear from Newsline and Dr. T. So we've got a big show.
Big one. Amanda, how are you this evening?
Big one.
We have almost as big of a one as the earthquake yesterday, but not quite. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'll just breeze through this. Stay tuned. Dawn's got a great presentation coming up. Gordo's going to be talking about Tropo. I'm going to be taking your questions, and we'll see if we have time for Ham It or Can It. Well, I don't know yet. Anyhow, stick around. It's huge show. Back over to Dawn. You take it from here, buddy.
Okay, why don't we? Now, we generally do this every year at the Huntsville, Alabama Hamfest, but because our guest of honor, we're talking about the Young Ham of the Year presentation, by the way, but because our guest of honor tonight is going to be in Germany for her senior year of high school as an exchange student, we're going to do it right here, and we're going to do it right now. So first off, I want to start off by honoring our corporate underwriters for the Young Ham of the Year Award from Amateur Radio Newsline. That's Yazoo USA, Heil Ham Radio, and Radio Waves. Unfortunately, we don't have any representatives from any of those entities with us tonight. Just the schedules would not allow that. But nonetheless, we certainly thank them for everything that they do. Okay, Katie Campbell, K-E-8-L-Q-R. She is the Bill Pasternak WA6ITF Memorial Amateur Radio Newsline Young Ham of the Year for 2025. And I want to tell you something about Katie here. I've got a brief sheet. Let me just give you this real quick. Katie is from Columbiana, Ohio. She is, as I said, the 2025 Bill Pasternak Amateur Radio Newsline Young Ham of the Year. She's 17. She's the daughter of Robert Campbell, K-E-8-L-Y-Z, and Colleen Campbell, K-B-8-V-A-Q. She was introduced to ham radio at the age of 10. Her high school started an amateur radio and electronics club. She was a fifth grade middle school student at the time, got her license, advanced her way to an extra class ticket by the age of 11. She's an honor student. As I said before, she's going to be spending her senior year of high school in Germany. She's the president of her Columbiana High School Amateur Radio Club. That's K8LBS. She is an instructor for the group. She still teaches classes on sending and receiving Morse code over Zoom, as well as to members of her school club. She attended Youth on the Air camps in Cincinnati in 2022, in Ottawa in 2023. She's also been a part of the planning staff for the subsequent YOTA camps. She serves as a mentor to campers and handles public relations and social media postings for Youth on the Air. She's a very busy lady. Part of the K3LR IOTA Dave Coulter Memorial Youth DX Adventure in 2023, returned in 2024 to the K3LR site to lead the CW operation. She's very active on the HF band. She operates in the ARRL and CQDX SSB and CW contest, ARRL sweepstakes, CQWPX, as well as Youth on the Air events, and she still has time to be an honor student. Amazing. She's made presentations on the role of youth in amateur radio and contesting at Dayton Hamvention, Orlando Hamcation, and at CPAC. She received the Radio Club of America's Young Ham Lends a Hand Award, the Young Amateur Communications Ham Team Friendship Recognition Award. She was selected as the ARRL Great Lakes Division Young Ham of the Year and has been serving as the ARRL Assistant Youth Section Coordinator for Ohio. She's the net control for the Ohio Section Youth Net, which she started 4 years ago. She served as the Young Ladies Radio League Youth Chairwoman, is a regular contributor to DX Engineering's On All Bands blog. And in her school life at Columbiana, she has served as class president, student council member, various honor societies. She's participated in speech and debate, theater, academic competitions, and the school board. She's the recent recipient of the Congress Bundestag Youth Exchange Scholarship. She'll spend her senior year of high school studying abroad in Germany. Ladies and gentlemen, please let me give you Katie Campbell, KE8LQR. Congratulations, Katie. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm going to give the floor over to you. So if you have some remarks for those of us watching, by all means, the floor is yours.
And above all, thank you to all of my mentors who have kind of gotten me here today. Everybody from Yoda and all of the contest teams that I've gotten to contest with. And kind of above that, thank you to both of my parents. Without them, absolutely nothing on the list that Dawn read would have been possible.
Yeah, the saying, it takes a village, and you certainly have a very supportive village behind you. Before we get to some of the folks that want to congratulate you, like we've got a couple of the judges, we've got the judging committee chairman, we've got some folks from Newsline, we've got Tim Duffy here, we've got Mark Brown from the Huntsville Hamfest. I've got a little something here that has your name on it, and I'm going to read this real quick. This is the Bill Pasternak WA6ITF Memorial Amateur Radio Newsline Young Ham of the Year Award, presented to Katie Campbell, KE8LQR, in recognition of her total dedication to the amateur radio service, presented by the Amateur Radio Newsline, Yazoo USA, Heil Ham Radio, Radio Waves, Wednesday, July 30th, 2025. Now, we're going to try a little radio magic here. I don't know if we've got any, we're just going to try something. Let's see if we have some kind of propagation or anything. I'm going to put my hand on the radio over here on the HF, and I'm going to stick this way over here and see if we can make some kind of a connection. I'm feeling a tingling in my hand. Katie, do you copy? Oh, I love it when a plan works out. Look at that. Excellent. Excellent, Katie.
Wonderful.
Well, congratulations. You are well deserving. And let me see if we have Rich Moseson, W2VU. I don't see you on there. Rich, are you with us?
I think he's loading right now, so maybe go to someone and we'll come back to him.
Okay, that's good. Rich is here in audio. Let's go ahead and get a Rich while we can hear him. Rich, you have any words for Katie tonight?
I am not hearing Rich.
Okay, we'll come back. Let us come back to Rich and see if we can work something out here. We'll let Josh do some things in the background. Hopefully we can come back. All right, let's go to NT3V. That is Mark Abramovich. He is our Young Ham of the Year chairman. Mark, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Don, and thank you to all of you on Ham Nation, and especially congratulations to Katie on such an achievement. I have two things I'd like to read in some of the nomination material. I mean, I have to tell you, all of the judges on this who are very prestigious amateur radio operators and have a variety of roles in ham radio over the years, you were the number one far and away. But I'd like to read two things, if I could, from the nominations that came your way. First, from one of those who was endorsing your nomination, mentioned that it is Katie's mentorship overall, the poise and eloquence she brings to her public presentations, such as Hamvention, and her penchant for sharing and showing fairness, even in high-profile contests. That marks her as an excellent operator who embodies the spirit of amateur radio. Moreover, Katie is a communicator in a world where many have lost the ability of easy and sincere expression. How about that? And here's something else from one of the nominators. Most of all, Katie is a very kind, articulate, intelligent young woman who has the best interests of everyone at heart. Her smile and sense of humor is infectious. And that's just scratching the surface, Katie, from all of the paperwork I had a chance to look at and send out to our judges. You are truly an outstanding ambassador for the Amateur Radio Newsline. We appreciate your contributions to amateur radio over the years, and we absolutely know that you're going to be quite a force in amateur radio in the years to come. But congratulations to you, Katie, from all of us.
Thank you very much, Mark. Very nicely said. Let's go to Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT, who is the editor-in-chief now of the folks here at Amateur Radio Newsline, kind of the glue that helps us all stay together. Karen, it's good to see you tonight.
Good to be here. Good to see you, and especially good to see you, Katie. Haven't seen you since we met for the very first time at HamSci in beautiful Newark, New Jersey. It was wonderful to get to know you during those hours, and a lot of stories crossed my desk over the years at Newsline, but this sure is one of the best. This is one of the absolute best. What I want to do, Katie, is borrow from you, if you don't mind. I want to borrow some of your own words that were used in your winning essay for the Dream Rig contest, the Intrepid DX group. Because what you said really resonates. And what you said was the most important thing that amateur radio serves in society is to bridge gaps, both culturally and generationally. Easy for me to say, generationally. You've done that beautifully, effortlessly, and in a very natural and inspiring way. And I think anyone who has either worked with you, beside you, or crossed your path in some way can notice that immediately. You also wrote that the human connection is so much more important than contests and awards. And you have plenty of both, but you have a wealth of human connection. And there you really absolutely shine. So I think if we've all got smiles on our faces tonight, it's because we know how deserving you are, and how happy we are for you, and how jealous we are of Germany because they're getting you for a year. But now you're going to become the DX for us. So we get a little bit of benefit from that. So go forth. Continue your good work, Katie. And again, it's a real pleasure to see you tonight and to congratulate you.
Well said. Thank you very much. Now to Neil Rapp, WB9 VPG, another one of our Newsline anchors. And Neil, I believe it was actually you who nominated Katie, right?
It was, with a lot of other people chiming in. And
Yes.
I just could not think of anyone more deserving. And I get pretty serious at times, but I also like to been known to be a little lighthearted, kind of like you, Don. Occasionally,
Well, yeah.
Good.
Neil, thank you very much. You have nominated several young hams over the year in the past, and all of the people that you have in your orbit are just absolutely the best, just the best. Speaking of one of the best, Tim Duffy, DX Engineering. Tim, you've had Katie at the K3LR Superstation a time or three. You're muted, Tim.
She's been very active from here, Dawn, at K3LR, and we're so very proud. Congratulations, Katie. And the future is very bright for you. But how many 17-year-olds do you know that spend their Sunday nights teaching CW to others? Not only kids, but anyone who wants to learn and experience the love of CW. And then I'm so proud that Katie has been a professor at Contest University now for 2 years, and she has taken by storm teaching and giving back to the best hobby in the world. So, Katie, we wish you good luck in Germany, and we know that when you come back from Germany, that you will have stories to tell. And I think I'm most proud of Katie as the big sister. She has 2 younger sisters that are both hams, and they're very excited about this award for Katie, and they're very excited to get Katie's bedroom when she moves out. So
I'm sure they are.
we wish the whole family good luck, and congratulations to Rob and Colleen on a fine job as parents of KE8LQR. Back to you, Don.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, we generally do this at the Huntsville Hamfest. We've been doing it at Huntsville, since I think 93. So we thought it only fitting that we would have the Huntsville Hamfest chairman with us tonight, Mark, in for BCD. Mark, the floor is yours, my friend.
Thank you, Don. Katie, we've not met, and it's a pleasure to be here with you tonight. And I want to say congratulations on winning this year's Pasternak Award. I've met some of the past recipients here in Huntsville, and all great operators. There have been so many, but hearing Don before he awarded the award tonight, and the accomplishments and activities that you've been involved in as a high schooler, in both high school and in ham radio, even half of that stuff would have been incredible. But all taken together, it's blowing my mind that you're involved in so many things and excelling in all of them at the same time. I hope you can make it to Huntsville sometime. Columbiana, Ohio is not too far away. It's a 5 or 6 hour drive down to Huntsville. We'd love to have you, and I'll turn it back to Dawn. Thanks again. I'm sorry we won't be here. You won't be here this year, but we look forward to seeing you sometime.
Next year, I will make sure that you are introduced to Katie. Katie has been to Huntsville several times. She's always there with Neil and the Yoda people over there. So I will
maybe
we
have
make sure
crossed
next
paths.
year. Yeah, you probably have, but I will make sure next year, if we're all together, that you do. And I see no reason why we shouldn't all be together. Let us go in and see if we can get Rich Moses in, at least by audio, if nothing else. We're having some trouble with connecting with Rich. When Rich was with CQ Magazine, CQ, of course, was always a huge supporter of the award. And it was I always enjoyed having Rich up on stage with me at these presentations, not just because of his friendship, but because of his eloquent words that he always has. And I have missed that, Rich. So please, I'm waiting for your remarks. I'm sorry we can't see you tonight, but are you with us?
I'm here. Hopefully you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
go
good.
right ahead.
Okay, very good. Katie, congratulations. I had the privilege of meeting and interviewing Katie at the HamSci conference this past spring or winter. And what stood out to me, Katie, is your maturity. I had trouble remembering as we talked that you were still in high school. You were with a couple of other people, one of whom was a college student, one of whom had already graduated college, and you were the leader of the group, and you were just the most well put together and mature person, without trying to be negative about the other two people that we were talking to. I remember asking you what year of college you were in because I couldn't, it just didn't register with me, even though I knew it, that you were still in high school. So I congratulate you on that as well. And this award program over the years has produced many, many leaders in amateur radio. Bill has started this program back in the 1980s out of concern that not enough was being done to encourage young people in amateur radio. And now the young people who supposedly were not getting into amateur radio back in the 1980s are the ones who are worried now that we're not getting top quality young people into ham radio. And when we were in Huntsville, I would always say that we're seeing the cream of the crop here in the nominations. But we've always had a great group of young hams and young leaders coming through the Young Ham of the Year program, even if they didn't win. There's too bad there's no way to recognize the people who place second or third, because often they're very, very close in qualifications. In this case, that wasn't the case. You were just head and shoulders above everybody else. And I hope that you have a great time in Germany over the next year, and that you continue to play a leadership role in amateur radio when you return. I hope you can get involved with the European Yoda group while you're over there, and have fun with that. And that's about all I have for this evening. Congratulations, and all the best to you as you move ahead. I know that whatever you decide to do in the future, you'll be great at it. So,
Rich, thank you so much. Since CQ Magazine no longer exists, tell us what you're doing these days.
I am very happily working with ARRL, not for, but with, as kind of a back editor on some of the electronic newsletters, the ARRL letter, NTS letter, ARES letter, just doing copy editing, checking on things, and also working very closely with the editor of National Contest Journal, as I forget what my title is on there, but I am on the masthead on that one. John Pescatori, K3TN, and I work very closely together on putting together each issue of the National Contest Journal. And I am having a great time and great people to work with at ARRL headquarters. And I'm very happy to be able to keep my hand in as we move forward in amateur radio.
Very good. We're going to have to con the league into getting you to come to Huntsville one year, because I miss seeing you there. Speaking of the league, let's go over now to another person who has joined the league officially, and that, of course, is Gordon West. Gordon is the is the big guy as far as education over there with getting folks licensed. Gordon, any comments tonight for Katie?
Katie, congratulations. We need more kids like you. Have a great time in Germany, and be sure and report back and tell us all the great new ham friends that you made.
Very good. Excellent. Thank you, Gordon. Yeah, we'll go around to the rest of the hosts now and wrap this all up since we're running a little bit late. I will go now to Amanda. And Amanda, I'm sure you have some kind words for Katie.
Of course I do. First of all, Katie, it was such a pleasure to meet you on numerous different platforms. We've joined together on other people's podcasts as well. And well, I didn't get to catch up with you during Yoda Camp because, again, Katie was so busy running around in the background, making sure everything was running smoothly while Neil was also doing the same. But it also took a village during that time. And talking to some of the other Yoda folks that couldn't join on or anything, just the amount of how proud they are of you. And they don't feel, most of these people don't feel like they mentored you much. You absorbed from everybody else so much, and they didn't have to push much to get you on your way in your future. And the only other thing I'll have to ask you is somebody wants to know if you're bringing any ham equipment with you to Germany. Now, I know you don't know where you're going in Germany, but hopefully you can hook up with a ham club there or something and get your German call sign as well. So from one YL to the other, congratulations, sister. You put the rest of us to shame. And we're so proud of you, and thank you for being here tonight. You're going to do wonders for us.
Amanda stole my question. I saw that in the chat, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to ask Katie that question. Katie, I'm sorry we haven't been able to talk in person very much. I've definitely seen you at Hamfest, and I'm just quite impressed by everything you've accomplished at the age you're at. I, too, was surprised that you're just now becoming a senior in high school. So best of luck in Germany. I still want the answer to the question, though. So what amateur radio are you taking? And really, congratulations. You absolutely deserve it. You're a model to my kids. I say, hey, see what Katie's doing? Where you at, kids? Come on, get in here. So, Katie, what radio are you bringing to Germany, or what's your plans?
So, very good timing on that question, actually. My grandfather, November 8 Golf Kilo, he got us a 705 that I'll be taking. I just got here today. Ordered it from DXC yesterday. So,
Nice.
I will be taking the 705, and then antennas are to be determined at this point. But 705 and various keys, of course.
Excellent.
Good. Excellent. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us. Katie, again, congratulations. Well deserved. I also want to thank our corporate sponsors, Jesu USA, Heil Ham Radio, and Radio Waves. You should be receiving some gifts from those guys as well. Keep me posted on that if you can, from Germany, and let me know how that goes. Again, bon voyage. I don't know how to say that in German. That's French, I guess. Close enough. It's in Europe. That's all I know. Portuguese? Is it
Yes,
really?
bon voyage is Portuguese.
You're lying to me. Okay.
Bon,
well, I'll
B-O-N.
take your word for it. Bon. Okay. Well, I'm Don, so close enough. Katie, congratulations. This has gone off the rails already. Thanks to Mark Brown. We can always count on Mark to encourage me to be an idiot. So it's one of the things I love him. So yeah, Katie, any final words, and then we'll wrap this up and turn it over to ICOM. Katie, the floor is yours. Put a bow on it. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you again to everybody at Newsline and all of my Elmers, all of the sponsors outside of Newsline of the Young Ham of the Year Award. Very much appreciative of everything they've sent and are going to send. And again, thank you to both of my parents as well.
All right. Very good. And let's see. I think where are we going next, Josh?
Back to you and Mark.
Oh,
What's
Mark.
going
Let's
on
talk
with-
to Mark.
He's still
Let's talk
he's here.
to Mark. Let's talk. Yeah, let's talk to Mark about. Yeah, let's talk to Mark real quick about the Huntsville Hamfest. Mark, tell us. It's just a few weeks away now, so bring us up to date on what's going on with Huntsville.
Don, it's only 16 and a half days away. It's like a moving freight train. We're busy with preparations. We're already planning 2026, the national convention, but even so, there's still a lot of last minute preparation. We have a meeting tomorrow with the Von Braun Center to go over the event details, make sure the tables and everything, the booths are all lined up according to our plan, and the flea market, we have a waiting list of 35 people.
Whoa.
We have something like 249 flea market tables, and they've been sold out for several weeks now. Same with the commercial area. It's full. We cannot fit another commercial vendor in the space. I think we've got a little bit of room out in the pre-function hallway for a couple of clubs and organizations that we might be able to squeeze in. But things are looking really good for this year. Forum schedules also full. Huntsville is a center for the space and defense industry. We draw on a lot of local talent for some really top-notch forum presentations, and we're looking at adding an additional forum room for next year. We've consistently filled up the rooms, and so we're looking at adding. I think it's a fifth, maybe sixth room. So a lot's going on. Oh, the ARRL events app. Many of you have used this at Orlando and Dayton. The ARRL, I think they partnered with a trip builder app company, and this app is available on Android and Apple phones. It's a free app to download, and in the span of a couple of days, we're going to we've partnered with the league, with Orlando and Dayton on cost sharing, and we'll be introducing that this year in Huntsville. So forum lists at your fingertips. Your phone can set a reminder because we all get busy at Hamfest, and 15 minutes into a program, oh, I missed that forum. Well, now it'll be on your phone as a reminder. Lots of good things on the app. Maps to where the dealers are. A lot of good stuff. You can set a profile where you can meet other hams. You can review who's there. A lot of little things. So we're excited to bring the ARRL events app. A couple of door prizes. The FTDX 10 for Saturday and Sunday. Great radios. We're excited about that. We have a lot of new things this year, and we're very excited. And
Good.
one of those things I'm not going to share publicly tonight. I'll just say, come to the Huntsville Hamfest. Oh, and you can purchase your ticket online until August 1st. It's a reduced price. You purchase it online and speed up the entry on Saturday morning at the will call desk. You just give your name and call sign, and you're in. So a lot of good things. Dawn, we'll miss you this year, but hope you're back next year for the National.
That is the plan, Mark. Thank you very much. And again, the website that you're seeing there on the screen is super easy to remember. It's hamfest.org. Cannot get any easier than that. You have the best website name, the best URL, I think, in ham radio. Hamfest.
I would love to figure out how we got that. I'd love to figure out how we got that.
Well, good planning and serendipity, I think, probably go hand in hand. Mark Brown in for BCD, the Huntsville Hamfest. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're always the third weekend in August, and of course that interferes a little bit with early school, but third weekend in August, indoors, completely air conditioned, including the entire flea market. Back to you, Don.
Right. Another easy way to remember, it's exactly 3 months after Dayton. So there you go. Very good, Mark. Thank you very much. Thanks to all of our folks tonight for joining us. Rich Moseson, Mark Abramovich, Karen Eve Murray, Neil Rapp, Tim Duffy, just everyone tonight. Katie, especially. Thank you to you. Congratulations. Enjoy your year as the Young Ham of the Year recipient, and tell Germany hello for us. So now let's go ahead and move over and get a word from ICOM America.
Fun, Sun, and QSO. Wherever you go, keep the fun going with one of ICOM's go-to rigs. As the days get longer and the bands heat up, make sure you're ready with a radio that works as hard as you do. So kick back and enjoy the breeze and make those QSOs with ease. Remote ready, contest capable, and built for serious signal, step into the future of amateur radio with ICOM's powerhouse trio. The IC7760 HF digital transceiver, the IC-PW2 1 kilowatt HF 50 MHz linear amplifier, and the all-new RC7760 remote controller. Designed to work in perfect harmony, this system offers full remote operation, high output power, and seamless integration across the bands. The RC7760 remote controller serves as an extra control head, and up to 5 can be registered to the RF deck, though only one can be active at a time. For wireless connectivity, simply connect a commercially available Wi-Fi access point via the LAN port. Whether you're working from the shack, the field, or a remote site, you'll experience crystal clear audio, digital precision, and amplifier-grade power, all from a single unified interface. It's the ideal setup for contesters, MCOM operators, and high-demand users who expect more from their gear. The IC7300 combines intuitive touchscreen control, real-time spectrum display, and superior signal purity into one compact rig. Built for satellite, EME, and weak signal enthusiasts, the IC9700 combines all-mode operation on VHF, UHF, and 1.2 GHz. The IC705 go-to rig for outdoor hams who love POTA and SOTA activations. A large color touchscreen with real-time spectrum scope and waterfall display for intuitive function and setting operation. The IC705 provides big radio features and performance in the palm of your hand. Enjoy HF to 50, 144, and 440 MHz with D-Star, SSB, CW, RTTY, AM, and FM modes. For more information about all of ICOM's great amateur radios, visit icomamerica.com/amateur today.
And a big thank you to ICOM for sponsoring Ham Nation. I'm actually going to be attending DEF CON, and I think I'm taking my 705 with me in case I can sneak away and activate the Red Rocks in Las Vegas. And of course, then I'll be at Huntsville. But every time we are live here at Ham Nation, we give away some swag packs, and at the end of the month, we do a selection for a radio winner. Well, we already gave away the radio earlier this month, but we do have 3 more winners of swag packs. And if you want to enter the swag pack giveaway, go to the website. It is linked in the video description to hamnation.icomamerica.com and hit the Enter Now button. Provide some information, and they'll pick randomly 3 names for a swag pack. If you get a swag pack, you go into the list of names that at the end of the month we draw the radio from. It's that simple. And we've got plenty of people who watch on Ham Nation here on the Ham Radio Crash Course that have won in the past. So the winners of the swag pack are Mike B, KM4EHX, Jared B, Thomas H, KN6KS. Congratulations to the big winners. Now, I'm going to Gordo now because he had to get bummed later in the show because of this amazing production we're doing. But Gordo, take it away. Love to hear from you.
Well, thank you all, and a very good evening to those out there in Radio Land. And let's take a look and a listen and a smell of radio waves in the atmosphere. So here we go. We're going to talk all about tropospheric ducting. VHF and UHF radio waves love the atmosphere. In fact, we really love it because it's the atmosphere that many times will develop into individual layers way down, right at deck level. They call that the weather layer. So for those in the tropospheric ducting, and yes, we have atmosphere in Germany as well, we see clouds and we see DX if everything is just right. Looking at the different weather forecasts, we now can really see almost a week in advance when we might have atmospheric conditions that are going to give you some spectacular VHF and UHF range. Well, we all know that the higher we go in altitude, pressure decreases. And as we go up about a mile of altitude, temperature goes down by 20 degrees. And also water activation, water will also decrease as moisture content in the atmosphere. This is called normal, and that's a radio range of about 4/3 horizon. A little bending, as you can see here, where we've got some pretty substantial layering, but nothing that's going to cause the radio waves to go on VHF or UHF a lot further until we have a high pressure system. This is the key. And that is going to lead to an effect called tropospheric ducting. Doesn't happen much on HF, doesn't happen much on 6 meters, but on 2 meters, 220, 440, 1270, yahoo! Even 10 gigahertz for the ARRL contest coming up in about another week or so. So tropospheric ducting is when the atmosphere and the high pressure system begins to develop a specific layer. And that specific layer is going to take place when you look at weather charts. You see the big letter H. That means, hello, we're going to be talking much further than 4/3 horizon. And here we see a map of the USA, and we see the potential for some good tropospheric ducting. Also, when a cold front is going to overlay a warm front or vice versa, that sharp layer between the cold and the warm air is going to also channel VHF and UHF radio waves over hundreds of miles. In fact, they get caught up in that high pressure system, and they go and they go and they go. And in a moment, we're going to give you a world's record listen to when the radio waves really misbehave themselves and gives us VHFers a real thrill. Now, take a look at this. That is Southern California smog. I know, Don, you don't have any smog there. And Mark, I know there's going to be no smog in Huntsville. And let's see, Denver. Yeah, Denver occasionally maybe gets a little, but we're the king of the smog layer. And when we see this, that is the high pressure system that is keeping that smog right down on the deck. It's also keeping our VHF and UHF radio waves along the duct to go hundreds of miles further than they normally do. And another trigger is the hurricane that will bring up patches of warm air that will overlay usually the cooler water. And on the Hepburn report, we can see that in the red area. Yahoo, the Bay Area is going to be talking all the way down well into Mexico, 600 and 700 miles away. Much like the waveguide that we have for radar, the same effect happens during the tropospheric ducting. And look at this. Here we have a layer that is different than the layer below it in density, and it actually refracts, not reflects, but refracts the radio wave back and forth until it goes for literally hundreds of miles. And for those of you driving in the desert this weekend and you see a mirage, that is a form of a tropospheric duct where the warm boundary of the asphalt is going to create some real hot air. And no, you're not looking at water. That's the blue sky above it being refracted back to us as we see it down at deck level. And there's different types of tropospheric ducts, but the most spectacular are when you look at the normal landmass and you say, well, a couple seagulls over that isthmus on the local Catalina Island. And once the high pressure system forms up, whoa, what happened? Well, watch this. Instead of the isthmus, now it looks like there's a bridge. And this is all happening within about 30 minutes. And now the bridge intensifies and you can actually visualize the tropospheric ducting. And just when you think you've seen everything, you see a big ship on the horizon. Look to the right of that, or I should say the starboard side, and you see a reflection, not a refraction this time, but a reflection of the ship's silhouette. And that means they're going to have some long-range VHF communications on the marine radio bands over hundreds, sometimes over 1,000 miles away. And wait a minute, 1,000 miles? We're talking moon bounce? Nope. We're talking atmospheric reflection and refraction. And as these ships are taking place, we actually see one on top of each other. A perfect example of tropospheric ducting that on 10 gigahertz and 24 gigs, when the contest comes up right around the corner, boy, we have conditions like that and we have new world records probably going to be set. And you'll see that tropospheric duct many times form up real early in the morning. And what looks like just brown whatever on the horizon is actually the tropospheric ducting that is taking the image to the right side. And if you look real carefully, you can see that there's reverse images. That is the tropospheric duct that usually settles in about 300 to 400 feet. And the thinner the duct, the higher the frequency it's going to propagate along the duct. And Chip, K7JA, silent key, but very active. He and I would go down to the water and we could actually hear signals coming in from literally hundreds of miles away following the tropospheric duct until the lifeguard police come and wonder, what the heck are you guys doing? Well, that's the fun part of tropoducting. And it's not just here on the West Coast. In fact, the tropospheric duct that you see here goes all the way from the West Coast to Hawaii. In the Northeast, it goes all the way down to Florida and further. And Don, Texas, there's Don, you can see him. He's talking to Texas probably on 2 meters on a FM repeater. And the troposphere
work. I was from Mississippi to New Orleans, talking all over Texas and Arkansas and Alabama and Florida and Georgia, all together on 2 meters one morning. Yeah, for the whole hour drive, it was magnificent.
Absolutely. And you could probably see the effect. Well, everybody says to do tropospheric ducting, it's best done on CW and single sideband. Well, we did some experiments. Take a listen to Paul, KH6 Hotel Mike Echo, several years ago when we went from single sideband over to FM. And everybody goes, no, FM won't make it on the tropospheric duct. Wow. 2,500 miles on FM. a lot of power, 10 watts. So when tropospheric ducting hits town, it's really going to take your signal. But again, and Don, probably during that big tropo duct that you encountered, there was probably a hurricane brewing. And again, that hurricane brings up that real hot weather. And when we find that the weather tropo duct is 10 degrees hotter within the duct than the cool water below it and the cool air above it, that 10-degree temperature difference is what's going to trigger the tropospheric duct. That was the Hawaii installation during the Paul Lieb period. And there was even tries on microwave, and they got up as far as 5 gigahertz between here, Southern Cal, and Hawaii, 2,500 miles away on an active volcano. Paul Lieb, he was the king of tropoducting in Hawaii. And on sideband, for those that have the ICOM rigs with multi-mode, 144-200 is where you'll find a lot of weak signal stations, and 432-100. But remember, on tropospheric ducting on weak signal, sideband, and CW, we are horizontally polarized. So you'll need to take your mobile antenna and somehow get it horizontal. But for FM, tropoducting, although it's not the big horizontal antennas I use at this end to talk to Hawaii, on tropoducting, we can do it just on a white fiberglass whip antenna from Diamond or Comet or one of those. And here again, you can see that tropospheric duct 10 degrees warmer right above the cloud level at the Hawaii station. And nobody said a wide signal, 6 megahertz analog ATV would make it. Yes, it did. And this was a shot we took here at the house from picking up the Hawaiian ATV signal that was about 20 watts spread over 6 megahertz. So even the digital modes work quite nicely on tropoducting. And the best news is July and August are the peak months of tropospheric ducting. So watch the weather maps. Take a look and see what's going on. Smell, if you smell a lot of smog, that means it's great weather for tropoducting. And while there's the sun giving us all sorts of activity, sporadic E and so on, take a close look here and you'll see what tropospheric ducting does. And that is it creates a whole new view of what the sun is all about. So that's my story on tropoducting. We'll see everybody in 2 weeks, and we have another exciting cast going on. So let me go back to Amanda and see if she has any questions, and I'll hear you on the airwaves, maybe via Tropo.
Just a couple comments. Yes, somebody had mentioned APRS works well for picking up ducting. It is a true statement. We have like our APRS net, and we have this guy that reports what he heard for 24 hours. And when tropo is happening, all of a sudden he's hearing all the way from Utah stations, middle of Kansas, even Nebraska and Oklahoma. Wow. So it's pretty amazing. Yeah.
And just probably a mobile antenna, right? And tropoducting works great to mobile, both vertically polarized.
I believe so. Now, the only other question I had, Gordo, is how is like 1.2 gig during this? Is this an awesome time to ramp it up and do those bands as well?
Yes, when the tropo duct is fairly thin, it propagates the higher bands, and 1.2 gigahertz is one that is a real popular one for point-to-point, and many times we're picking up signals 400 and 500 miles away up and down the California coastline on 1,200 megs. So 1.2, plenty of activity there as well with your ICOM rig.
Fun times. Well, thank you, Gordo. Appreciate that. And everyone loves your educational videos. So keep up the good work. We're going to go over to Don again. Don, are you tired of talking tonight?
A little bit. You know, that morning that I was driving to New Orleans, that was 2 meter FM from the car.
Wow.
It was, I mean, from Texas to Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia. I think Missouri was in there.
Wow.
Arkansas, all the way to Florida. It was we just had this one big, huge round table. It was great. I forget what repeater it was on, probably like a 3494 pair. That's, you know, more of those anywhere, because that was the first repeater pair. But yeah, that's how I always if I can, it's funny down here because the FM radio, there's 100.5 FM that goes kind of wonky. And if I hear that going in and out, I turn on the 2 meter, and generally there's a band opening, and it can be quite remarkable. So, yep. Yeah, let's go ahead now. Let's get into the news of the week from Amateur Radio Newsline. And of course, we will have Dr. T as well. So here we go. From Amateur Radio Newsline, report number 2491. This is Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, July 30th, 2025. In the U.S., the Federal Communications Commission is preparing for two major initiatives: the return of auctioning spectrum licenses and a top-to-bottom assessment of the nation's emergency alert system.
In the U.S., the Federal Communications Commission is preparing for two major initiatives: the return of auctioning spectrum licenses and a top-to-bottom assessment of the nation's emergency alert system. The FCC's ability to auction spectrum had expired, but it was restored by a bill signed by President Donald Trump on July 4th. The frequencies eyed for this auction are in the so-called AWS-3 band for Advanced Wireless Services. These are unused microwave frequencies that have been allocated for 5G commercial wireless. The auctions would be the first of their kind in the U.S. in 4 years. The FCC has also prioritized a system-wide re-evaluation of the nation's emergency communications technology. The emergency alert system makes use of radio and TV, while the wireless emergency alerts utilize mobile devices. The FCC is set to vote on moving ahead with this system-wide assessment at its August 7th meeting, with an eye toward pushing for upgraded technologies. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
The reason this next story has a happy ending is because everyone did everything right. The search and rescue team, the ham radio operators, and perhaps most importantly, the mother and son in need of rescue in a remote section of a national forest in California.
The GPS was to have safely guided a mother to a campground with her 9-year-old son on July 11th. Instead, it mapped a route that left their car stuck in the rugged terrain after they lost their GPS signal. Hours later, they were reported missing to the Calaveras County Sheriff's Office by a caller who had the mother's travel agenda and said the family had failed to check in as they had planned. A search and rescue team was dispatched in 4-wheel drive vehicles to the area the next day, where campers reported that they had seen the family's sedan. The team soon discovered handwritten notes posted by the mother at nearby locations, indicating that the vehicle was stuck and they were stranded. The boy, meanwhile, periodically blew a whistle in 3 short bursts, an audible, universal distress call. Mother and son were found safe at their car, only a mile or so away from where the notes were posted. Lieutenant Greg Stark, one of the search and rescue coordinators, told Newsline everyone, including mother and son, did everything right. He said that one backup resource proved invaluable: ham radio. It also provided some inspiration. The lieutenant told Newsline, quote, "It enhanced our communication ability, and now it has spurred some of our other team members to look at getting their license," end quote. This is Ralph Squillace, KK6ITB.
The questions on the basic level exam for hams in Canada have changed.
A team of volunteers from provinces throughout Canada is developing a new bank of questions for the Advanced Amateur Radio Certificate, according to the Radio Amateurs of Canada website. Many members of this team completed the new question pool for the basic level certificate earlier this year, and it was released in January by Innovation, Science, and Economic Development Canada. The questions took effect for basic examinations starting on the 15th of July, providing the first major update for that level of examination since 2013. Writing on the RAC website, Dave Goodwin, Victor Echo 3 Kilo Golf, the RAC's Regulatory Affairs Officer, said the 984 questions were developed by a committee of 20 instructors and accredited examiners, many of whom are now working on the advanced level questions. Those questions are expected to become available in 2026. This is Andy Morrison, K9AWM.
And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news since 1976 at arnewsline.org. With Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, Ralph Squillace, KK6ITB, Andy Morrison, K9AWM, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe, I'm Don Wellbanks, AE5DW. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation. Now here's the solar update from Dr. Tamitha Scove, WX6SWW.
We have a complex solar storm that's hitting Earth now and bringing us just a skosh of aurora. And some new regions on the sun's far side are growing fast, and that means that the radio noise stays high. Those stories and more in the news this week. Space weather this week gets a bit on the complicated side. As we take a look at our Earth-facing disk, I'm going to want to keep your eyes in this region here and also in this region right here, because late on the 22nd and into the 23rd, we had a very complicated eruption occur. It was kicked off in this region here by region 4150. You can watch this right in here like a little poof right there. See that? Just that little tiny thing started off a whole chain of events. In fact, as you continue watching over the next few hours, you can see this whole section here go. See it right there? There's a dimming region here. Here's part of a filament that lets go over here. And on top of that, we even have a little bit of a dimming region that goes up in here. So there's a lot of stuff that was going on. This actually ended up being a 3-part eruption. In fact, as we take a look in coronagraphs, you don't see a 3-part eruption unless you look really closely, because you can see this big partial halo that lets go right here. But if we follow it out just a little bit further, you can see yet another part here and yet another part here inside as well. Let me kind of tick it forward just a little bit. So do you see that outside ring is almost gone? There's an inner ring here, and then there's yet a third section right in here. So this was kind of like a 1, 2, 3 launch, boom, 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 all together. And so it made it seem as if it were just one solar storm. In fact, it's actually 3 of them that are back to back to back. And we're kind of in the middle of maybe the end of the first one into the second, or possibly the second into the third. It's kind of hard to tell, but we'll be talking more about that in just a second. In fact, here's a better look at it. As we switch to Stereo's coronagraph for just a moment, you can see, oh, actually you can't see. Let me back this up just a smidge so you can see where Stereo is. So here's Earth, here's the sun, and here's Stereo A looking at the sun kind of from behind the west limb. So let me play that coronagraph again. And here is that first eruption. So this is that outer ring in the Soho Lascaux coronagraph, but then you can actually see a second one. See this second one in here? And then you can also see the third one. And I've got it labeled right there. So the first one is really kind of poofy, and that's the one we've definitely been hit by already. With looks like there might be a kind of a second and a third one. I think the second one may actually not be hitting us very well. And then the third one should be the one that hits us the strongest. That third one looks like it's going to end up being the one that's going to hit us here over the next 24 hours. So now continuing on with our Earth-sided sun, you can actually see we've got a lot of new regions rotating into Earth view from the sun's far side. And there's even more on the sun's far side. We'll talk about those in a minute. Meanwhile, we haven't seen a heck of a lot going on. We've got a nice eruption here. We'll talk more about that when we get into the stereo imagery. But then there's just a few poofs here and there. We also have a solar disk crossing. Look at there. Here goes the moon. We're back in eclipse season again. So we've got the moon passing in front of the sun, between SDO and the sun again from us. So we're going to be seeing that over the next few months. But outside of that, we really just haven't seen all that much in terms of really big eruptions. We had a bit of a poof right here. It doesn't look like there's much in coronagraphs. So outside of this solar storm, we're just going to be in kind of a sit and wait mode until we see what some of these regions are going to bring us here over the next couple days. So amateur radio operators and emergency responders, we don't have really big blackouts, radio blackout threat yet, but it does look like that risk is going to rise. So along with that solar storm you're dealing with on Earth's night side, it looks like that radio noise is going to continue to ramp up a bit this week, and we might start seeing radio blackouts on the Earth's day side as well. And now taking a closer look at the sun's far side, we do switch to stereo A imagery because stereo A is now looking at the sun just a little bit from the side. And what I want you to pay attention to after you kind of get yourself calibrated, you can see here's that big coronal hole that was giving us some fast solar wind about 4 or 5 days ago. Most of these regions are now on the sun's far side, but look at region 4140. It had been reasonably quiet. It was a reasonably new growth, but this region, look at it, and here it starts really getting busy and launches that big solar storm. So we're going to be watching this region as it continues to rotate on the sun's far side because it might end up being a big flare player. Outside of that, we don't see a lot of new growth going on. By the time we see this coronal hole rotate back into Earth view again in about 2 weeks, it's going to be very changed. So we'll see whether it gives us the level of storming that we had just basically a week ago, because it may have closed up just a little bit. But outside of that, not a lot of change from stereo's view, and we'll need to take a look at our full sun map to see what's on the east limb of the sun. And now switching to our solar flare and dayside radio blackout outlook over the coming week, we are sitting in the middle of the 140s to 150s right now. And this is because we've got so many active regions in Earth view. Even though we don't have a really strong risk for radio blackout tonight right now, we are sitting at the moderate noise range. In fact, NOAA's giving us about a 40% chance of M-class flares at the R1 to R2 level radio blackout, but only about a 5% chance of X-class flares at the R3 level radio blackout, and I'm extending that out at least through Tuesday, possibly Wednesday, when some of these new regions rotate into Earth view. You might see that moderate noise kick in a bit more and that risk for radio blackouts rise a bit more. There's one new region on the far side that we're watching very closely, so expect that noise to kind of just stay the same over the next few days, but as we move into the weekend, you could definitely see that or get that noise to ramp up a bit. So the space weather this week is a bit on the complex side. We are dealing with the solar storm that's hitting Earth right now, and it's kind of a 1, 2, 3-parter. It's hard to know exactly when this whole thing is going to die down. Right now, the first part of this structure is not really conducive for strong aurora shows. So only if you're a dedicated aurora chaser and you understand how to deal with substorms and know when they're coming, only you guys should chase, or possibly hang out with someone who does know a bit more about the space weather, because then you might catch some dazzling brightenings. Now, amateur radio operators and emergency responders, well, you know, the noise is kind of on the moderate side. We're not expecting really big solar flares and radio blackouts right now, but that could change here over the next couple days as some new regions rotate into Earth view. So be on the lookout. And now you GPS users, well, we do have some mild storming right now on the night side of Earth, and that could throw you a little bit, but we also are going to be, in the next couple days, be getting a bigger chance for radio noise on the day side. So be sure to stay vigilant, especially near dawn and near dusk, and anywhere near aurora. I'm Tamitha Skov, the Space Weather Woman. Thank you for watching.
Good report from Dr. T. Of course, thanks to her and thanks to the Newsline folks for helping us put that together. You can find Dr. T on X at Tamitha Skov. Of course, she's got the YouTube channel, Tamitha Skov, and spaceweatherwoman.com. We still have Mark in for BCD with us. Mark, have you been around for our new segment, Ham It, Can It, or What Am It?
I don't think so.
Oh, my God. Okay, you're going to okay, we'll be gentle.
For you, I had a technical difficulty and I couldn't get my photos over to here. No. I'm so sorry.
Next week or next time.
Well, next time I'm going to have a double whammy.
Next time you're back on, we'll do Ham It. It's basically show and tell of the goofiest stuff that Amanda sees, and we either like it, don't like it, or make fun of it, or sometimes all three.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Too. Oh, it is fun. And I had some doozies this week, so I'm really sorry about that. Oh.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
I want to ask Gordo a question, if I may. Gordo, I really enjoyed your talk here tonight about tropospheric ducting, but I have to wonder about the importance of polarization of our antennas. Many of us VHF guys, I mean, if you're not really into it, for example, I have a 5-element vertically polarized Yagi. Do I have any shot at trying tropospheric ducting with a vertically polarized antenna? Or is
Absolutely, because so many hams these days with the ICOM gear that they get from DX Engineering, they are vertically polarized. They've got the diamond or the comet antennas, so they're vertical as well. And we have tried and tested difference between horizontal to horizontal, vertical to vertical, and there's almost no difference. However, horizontal to vertical, 10 to 12 dB loss. So just make sure that if you're FM, you're vertical, and if you're sideband CW, you are horizontal. a huge issue. Yes, sir. Thanks for bringing that up, Mark. Thank you, and we'll see you soon.
Wow, we're learning stuff left and right.
I know. Okay. Well, I think that's the end of the show. I'm just going to talk about the Nets. We have D-Star 14 Charlie taking place, and Kev should be around 71.92. And I'd like to thank our viewers tonight and everyone in the chat room. It was so wonderful to Katie, and just so proud of her, and can't
Indeed. Congratulations.
Can't be happy enough. I know.
Yep.
Anything from anyone else? Any activities going on in the next 2 weeks you want to talk about?
DEF CON, I mentioned, and Huntsville Hamfest
So,
after it.
What is DEF CON?
Computer hacker convention, kind of.
Okay, so
computer
it is a hacker
security, all that.
convention.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where
but
like
there's a
don't
ham
bring an
radio
open
village.
phone.
There's a whole segment of amateur radio at DEF CON, but they're more towards the higher frequency stuff a lot of the time. So I'll be having fun with them.
Fun times.
Hey, I
I
wanna
bet Meshtastics
Yes.
is going to be big there. I can
is.
say that.
I want to show you something that my son Tyler sent me this morning. From it's the Hacker Quarterly.
Okay.
2600 the Hacker Quarterly.
Yeah, 2600. Yeah.
And this was when was this? July 22nd, 7 a.m. Gigantic 2-meter band opening on the Hacker Quarterly. So yeah. He sent me that this morning. So yeah, I thought that was so they're paying attention to this as well, looks like.
July.
Yeah, that band opening that I experienced driving to work that morning was just, I've never experienced anything like it since. It was just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And all of a sudden we'll start in the mornings. We'll hear Kansasans talking, and it's funny because they're not on the same tone, right? So we can't actually talk to them, but people here try to, which is kind of cute because they're like, "Hey, where are you located?" And then the people are still talking. But it is a really neat phenomenon that is quite fun, and take advantage of it. That's, you never know when you're going to have the opportunity to do it again.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And Gordon, you mentioned smog. We don't have much smog here, but you know what we do have this time of year? We have Saharan dust.
Oh,
the
really?
Saharan dust comes all the way across the Atlantic, and it gets into the Gulf, and it makes for the most beautiful sunsets and sunrises around here. And also, when it rains, I mean, it looks like your car's gone through the mud. But what that does is it helps moderate the Gulf of Mexico, and it keeps tropical weather down. So I don't mind the dust, because as long as we have dust, we typically it damps down the tropical weather. So
interesting.
Yep,
I did not know that.
Very interesting. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Yeah, thank you.
That's all I have.
Okay. I'll be at Outdoorsman Days next Friday, and it's here in Colorado, and I have a
What is
booth,
that?
and
What
it's
is Outdoorsman Days?
it's a wildlife conservation expo. So you learn things about hunting, trapping, fishing, and all things in between. So obviously ham radio goes right in with that, and I teach people about comms in the field when they might not have cell phone service and their options. And I have learned that I can't just talk about ham radio because they come into it knowing that there's other options out there. So I do have to tell them all their options about FRS, GMRS, even rapid radios,
Murs, things like that. Yeah.
And because they ask, well, have you seen these rapid radios? What do they do for you?
They stop working when you get outside of network range. That's what they do.
Right. I don't have any experience with them, so I'm honest about that. But they want to know their options. So ham radio is just one tool to put in their bag of all the other tools that they bring while they're going out hiking, camping, or hunting, things like that. So it's a fun time just to talk to unlicensed people, and we bring out our tower trailer and have the 705 out there and stuff and give demos. Cool. So it's a really fun time. So anyone in Colorado, come check us out in Florence, Colorado, Friday and Saturday. So
excellent.
Fun.
That's it for me. All right. We can wrap it up. Thank you, Josh, for all your hard work.
Thank you, everybody,
John,
for sticking with us.
Thank you so much for being an awesome NC. Anytime I have an event, you're invited and hired. You did a fantastic job herding the cats tonight. So
So we will see you in 2 weeks, everybody. Thank you for watching. And 73. See ya.
7-3.
Good night, everyone.